Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And today we are going to be looking at 8,000-year-old rock carvings as scale diagrams, proofs that, unfortunately, architects existed in the past.
Yes. We'd like to issue an apology to all the engineers out there who have to deal with them,
Yes,
and
our heart goes out to the
uh,
engineers.
yes, especially those who had to work on Brasilia. We apologize so
Oh.
much.
Hmm.
The roots of your enemy are, in fact, ancient.
But
But
yeah, what this is a um, two remote sites on the Arabian Peninsulas discovered these rocks that actually map out the site in which they were located on, which is kind of neat.
um, yeah, it's a very fun thing. Sorry, I'm choking up. Someone else go.
Yeah.
Huh. So it looks like they were used for these traps were used possibly um from well I can't speak
Jeez.
either.
They were
Fuck.
set up in specific formats, and what they were was they're referred to as desert kites or open structures that were surrounded by lone stone walls. And they were usually used to guide animals into trap pits. So it was actually a form of hunting. But I find it very interesting that it shows a scale plan diagram of the site, which is honestly very fascination. But what it is it's actually planning out kill sites for these animals. It's planning out where to actually herd them. And this is a technique that I find very interesting because that type of hunting style is used all over the world. Hell, even in North America, we had bison kill sites that were, or bison unalive sites that would basically corral the bison off a large hill and down where they could be harvested.
Slaughtered.
Yeah,
Harvested.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess they'd be dead already.
You slaughter wheat and harvest bison.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of pre-planning to these hunts, which in the modern day, we don't have that kind of concept because we don't need that kind of concept. Or planning really, since most people spend all their days in the tree stands, at least here in the States.
Oh yes, the not fun way to hunt.
yeah, but but like with this sort of like trap hunting style, it takes a surprising amount of foreplanning because you're trying to force an animal to move in a direction without it knowing you're trying to get it to do that.
And
You ever
also
seen people try to herd? It's not
Yeah,
easy.
and also to
yeah,
have an end goal and an end trap in mind where you're trying to lead the animal to this specific trap because you're hungry and probably want food or need some resources that the animal provides.
yeah. Now, so one of the stones, the one I kind of like the most, which was found, I believe, in Jordan, uh, has been dated to approximately 5,000 BC. So this is 7,000 years ago. This is very very old artifact, and it's just wonderful that like the carvings have survived. Just weathering in existence for that long because it is a rather it's a rather decently mapped out diagram. You can see the intentional markings in a lot of places.
And the thing
Uh,
is, this specific kite isn't actually all that big. It's 32 by 12 and a half inches. So it's, just a little bit longer than a standard. It's like 3 feet long and about a foot wide.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
good enough for probably any grazing animal,
No, Aaron,
probably in this
this was the
region.
map.
This is the map.
Oh,
They drew out their architectural plans on a 3 by 1.
Oh my god.
that's
Instead
a
of
good
the
sized map.
original cartographer, it was the carveographer.
This
Because
is
they would have to carve the map.
yeah.
Oh, come on. That was a good
So
pun.
this stone is effectively smaller than your average wooden plank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is what they were doing. So it's very small. It's only the size you really need to do it, and just you can just see, and I just love how clearly preserved a lot of the etching is on it, especially just looking at it in section C, you can see the
zigzag.
angles for very clearly put in for the collapsing of the pit.
And there are other ones too, like this one found in Saudi Arabia gives inscriptions that detail how to do it, I believe. Or I think it might show, but it's a little bit older. It's dated to 6,000 years old. And the engravings cover one side of the boulder. It's just really interesting that you're able to see these in both Saudi Arabia and in Jordan. So it's a pretty regional thing. And they're both differently sized. So this one's massive. This one is 12 feet by 7 feet. So it's absolutely huge. The other one's a little more portable, although I imagine the weight of the rock is pretty heavy, but still.
Yeah.
And I mean, these are set up in formations anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any? Does it mention any like nearby settlements, or is?
No, but it does mention a number of nearby kites that have been discovered around these traps.
Oh, so it's kind of like going to like in a video game. You have to go to a certain point to start the mission.
Well, so like
start here. Look at the map.
Even in North America, I mentioned the bison kill sites. A lot of them were marked for miles by usually stones, either by building up stone. Oh God, I can't remember the word off the top of my head.
Cairns.
Yeah, cairns. Thank you. Well, they would build stone cairns to give directions, and in some cases, one of my favorites in South Dakota specifically was they built a lot of stone petroglyphs. So they made animal designs out of the stones. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, and like with these two effectively architectural models, in Jordan there is a kite just 1.5 miles away, and near the Saudi Arabia one, they've linked it to two. One that was just under a mile away, and another one that was 10 miles, which you think would be a little bit of a stretch until you think just how far people would be able to walk in a day. Especially in this time period where walking is all you really have. It's like, yeah, so it's a better part of a day's walk out there to dig that one. Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable.
I will say this article does make a good point that I would like to highlight, because we did question the article's authenticity. We're not going to name what source we're going to use here, because this is not about that. But they mentioned that it is possible that this is just one of the first physical formations of it, that it could have been used previously by markings in the dirt, or potentially used on a perishable material such as leather, or some sort of papyrus potentially.
Yep.
Those are my assumptions. They just said that the stone carving may not have been the first implementation of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to have all the versions where you got it wrong before you have the version where you get it right, and then this version where it's like it's actively functional.
See, yeah. I imagine this to be like a street sign. Like everyone's got their own personal map, they got their own personal GPS. But if you're out wandering and you need directions, you're like, yes, I'm looking for the zigzag trap. Oh, okay, it's 2 miles this way. Okay.
Yeah, or even just, at least with the Saudi Arabian one, because it's much, much larger, at the very least, caution, trapping area.
Wait,
watch out for the pits.
As you fall into the pit with the wild boar. Oh no, not again.
Oh no, I seem to have missed my caravan. When's the next one arrive?
Yeah, but yeah, I don't necessarily think the little 3x1 would have been much use as a road sign, given the fact you can't really mount that heavy of a stone without a bunch of other stones.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the top of the article, it quite literally shows it standing straight up.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. They did.
Could have been a rock that was laying on the ground.
They did say a lot of them were mounted, though.
It could have been like laying on the ground, and they just like, this will do, and they just like stood it up.
Yeah, but if they're gonna use the measuring stick like that, they're probably not gonna prop it up. They're not gonna try and if it was laying on the ground, they would just lay the measuring stick next to it. They're
Yeah.
not gonna, especially because that looks heavy.
True.
Yeah, it looks very heavy. And it's just one of the things like it's only 3 feet high, but I guess that might be enough. It's just one of those things like you're just trying to imagine just how easy it would be to miss this.
Yeah. But I think that's a good point for us to wrap up here. If you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a like and subscribe. Be sure to check out all of our other videos and content. Thank you for watching.